You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the January 12th meeting of the Michigan City Sustainability Commission. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
I'd like to go ahead and get started. And today is January 12th, 2023. It's 4:30 p.m. It's Thursday, and this is the Michigan City Sustainability Commission meeting. And I'll call the meeting to order at 4:30. And Laura, if we could get you to do the roll call, please.
Tim Bauer.
Here.
Kirsten Bogart.
Here.
Bailey Chavis. She's excused.
She's excused, yes.
And Bryant Dabney.
Absent.
Andy Johns Davis.
Excused.
Laura Henderson. I am here. Brian Spolsky is absent. Daisy Lee. Here. Nancy Goldenauer.
Here.
Faye Moore. Excused. Mary Kate Neary.
Here.
Angela Reynolds. We shall see.
She's excused.
She's excused.
Yeah, she was one I forwarded on to you.
Oh, the one that didn't have a name.
Oh, okay.
And Latanya Troutman. We have a quorum.
Thank you very much, Madam Secretary. And if we could go ahead then and do approval of the December 8th, 2022 minutes. Would somebody make a motion to approve those, please?
Motion for approval of December minutes.
Thank you very much. Who will second that, please?
A second.
Daisy, thank you. Everybody in favor, raise a hand and say aye.
Aye.
Anybody objects? Okay, the minutes pass unanimously, and Laura, thank you very much for always doing an outstanding job with those. Greatly appreciated. Okay, we're moving on to our project teams now. And first up is the solar power options for city government. Tristan?
Yeah, I have no updates.
No updates? Okay, and I think we acknowledged you last time, right, for getting the addresses all
Yeah.
identified as far as the department that owned the building and everything else. So thank you very much for doing that. I know that was quite an undertaking and a task. So, okay, we're up to the funeral homes and crematoriums with planetary opportunity. Bailey's not here. She said diving season, swim season will be over very soon, so she'll be back to a regular attendance with us. So we have no updates on that also right now. Okay, next is waste reduction and garbology. Daisy?
Yeah.
Since Angie isn't here, I think you have a big announcement to make, probably.
Do I? Oh, save the okay, that, yes. Yeah, in December, was it? December? The seventh graders from Barker and Krieger Middle School won an award from Save the Dunes for their project with getting recycling bins in all of the local parks. It was the Dorothy Buell Youth Environmental Award, and so their efforts were acknowledged by Save the Dunes, which is a very big deal, and I was very excited for all of them for being there. And Angie was there, Angie Reynolds, and Frank Anderson, who were two of the captains for the Better World Day project back in 2021.
And who was the captain at which of the schools? Because it was, it involved two schools, right? So
It involved Barker and Krieger, but all of the captains were from Krieger.
they were all from
Yeah.
Krieger,
So,
okay. Okay.
Yep, Keith Jackson, Frank Anderson, and Angie Reynolds.
Oh, there was a Frank Anderson then also.
Yeah, he was the one who was there, but then Keith Jackson was,
We had it wrong in the newspaper, didn't we?
I don't have a subscription, so I couldn't read the article.
Okay, so I definitely want to get this correct. Okay, so Frank Johnson.
Frank Anderson.
Oh, okay. Frank Anderson was with which school?
Krieger, and he was with Angie the night of the awards.
They were at the awards, okay. We may need to do a newspaper correction then, depending on how the photographs were labeled. And then the other person was Keith Jackson.
Yeah.
And he was from Barker.
Krieger also.
He's from Krieger also, okay. Keith Jackson, okay, also from Krieger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so all three were from Krieger then. Okay, I'll get that straightened out somehow.
Okay.
So I apologize for that.
No.
I didn't get that right the first time, so the mistake continued to multiply all the way down the chain is what happened. So we did make, this particular award did make the front page of the Michigan City, what was formerly the Michigan City News Dispatch, known as the LaPorte County Herald Dispatch now. And they actually had 4 pictures with it. Yes, and a very long article that started on the first page and continued on page 5 of the newspaper. So really just kudos to you, Daisy, and your students who took on this project, which very much is in line with waste reduction here in Michigan City. For people in Michigan City, the one area we identified that was really troublesome was the tonnage. That was the tonnage of trash and garbage that was going to a landfill up in Michigan. And by far, we had like way over what we should have for a community of this size. In fact, when the intern ran the numbers, he thought, no, this can't be, this has to be a big mistake. And so he reran the numbers again, and it turned out it was a mistake, but it was a very small, minor mistake. So this is something that really we should have our eye on and, have projects to help reduce the amount of trash and garbage we're sending to the landfill. It was really pretty unbelievable, actually. So, okay, so congratulations, I think it's a nice acknowledgement. And you also got coverage, I saw, in the Michigan City area schools on the Facebook page, and then also newsletter and stuff.
Yeah. And I do have an update about recycling at Washington Park Beach. So I met with Shannon Eason and Ed Shin and Pat. I don't recall his last name. He's the head of maintenance at the Parks Department. We met the other day, and Sasha G. Burns from the LaPorte County Solid Waste District, and we were talking about how to make recycling possible at the beach, because that's a whole nother beast over there. So Nancy, you had the idea of a big, large fish sculpture of a native fish, and people could feed the fish. Mm-hmm. Some challenges that would be with that are storms. So when we get big waves and big storms in from the beach, sometimes those storms crash all the way up to the volleyball courts. So that's one of the challenges to look at. And then cleaning of the fish and making sure that critters are involved and maggots and, kind of insects, how to prevent that. So another option could be, which I think this is what we're going to pilot, is smaller recycling bins, also possibly fish-shaped. Maybe just the regular 50-gallon metal drums with a local artist adding some pectoral fins and maybe a dorsal fin on there, and painted to look like some native fish. And then we'll start with a few picnic shelters, do a pilot there, see how that goes, maybe the zoo. We also found some very cute dolphin-shaped small bins where the white part of the dolphin on the belly can pull out, and so that's easy disposal, easy access to the bin for the recycling. So we're looking at grants. Shannon sent me one yesterday, so we're looking at some grants to buy the materials for the bins. And we're also looking for a grant that may fund an additional employee or intern for the summer at the Parks Department to only focus on recycling. So that way they can do the education aspect, they can do the maintenance aspect of the recycling bins, they can do the recycling removal. And so that would kind of help clear out any kinks with the recycling program in the beginning stages.
That sounds great. Yeah, questions or comments on that?
And with the composting, with the hog farmers, Mary Kate looked up some hog farmers nearby. So we'll be doing some contacting soon to get composting pilot program at least in a couple schools. At least
Great.
we could probably-
Oh, very good, excellent. Awesome, I like this. And the thing that's really great about doing the small steps, you know, maybe leading up to something larger, is that actually, like you said, get the kinks worked out. That sounds good, you know. And I did forward the gobies that were the native fishes in Asia that are on at least 2 or 3 beaches in Indonesia and India, the country of India itself. I forwarded that on to everybody. I hope you got those. Yeah. And then I forwarded it on to Laura Fosberg, who's actually the art manager, who is the one that coordinates projects like this. After the plans are all worked out, after the money has been found and everything, then she's the one who actually helps actualize that, okay? But that's not to say we couldn't put that fish someplace else in Washington Park.
Yeah.
You know, and have it as a central part of, you know, a recycling program for the whole park and zoo there, actually. So we won't forget about it, but this is super sweet, actually.
Mhm.
Yeah, comments, questions, people? No?
I'm just curious about the hog farmers. Are these, what are known as CAFOs?
I don't know. What does that mean?
That's,
Factory farms.
Oh,
I don't think so. I just looked on a farm search website where you can find local farmers, and I specified that they had hogs and just found a list of them. So I'm not really sure what kind they were yet, but I guess we'll find out if we contact them and look into it more.
yeah, because some of those have environmentally problematic lagoons of animal waste, so.
yeah. Yeah, that's something to keep in mind. Yeah, thanks for.
You maybe are aiming more at the small family farms in the area.
I hope it's
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Try to do that. And I'm not sure that the factory farms would want stuff like that. I don't know, but who knows? So I'm not gonna scoop out a turn on that, but.
Does somebody have the attendance?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Nikki, thanks for being here. Okay, Daisy, would you please go through the names of the people who were present at the meeting again, please, at your,
Angie Reynolds and Frank Anderson were present the night of the awards.
no, your meeting with the park department.
Shannon Eason, Ed Shin, Sasha G. Burns, and Pat.
Who's the
he's
head?
the head of maintenance.
For the,
Parks and Perfect, yeah.
park department, okay. I knew I was missing somebody, it was Pat.
I can,
Okay, great, that's very exciting, actually.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put my 2 cents in worth, stay away from the dolphins because they're not native,
I know,
okay?
but they're cute.
They may be
They're real
cute,
cute.
they may be really cute, and, when I was up in Sheboygan, Wisconsin for the League of Women Voters Great Lakes meeting, they had a museum there, and they had started doing sculptures in the community, artwork, like we have around Michigan City, and one of the buildings had this huge whale on it, okay? And it just really, it upset everybody in the community, you know, because they don't have any whales around here. And we have, you know, they have whitefish up there, they have the brown trout, they have, you know, all kinds of native species that live in Lake Michigan. So it's just a real disjoint And I can't tell you the number of complaints I heard about that sculpture while I was there. And I don't know, it may have gone up just recently or something, but it was still a real hot button issue up there, you know. Go into the pastry shop and just, you know, buying a pastry or something, you know, and people are going on about that sculpture.
They also had frogs, so.
Frogs, we have frogs here, we do, yes, we do have frogs
Check
here.
your species.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Pick your species carefully,
Yeah.
we don't want backlash. Okay, great, wonderful, thank you. That's great. Congratulations, Daisy. Congratulations, that's great. Very good news. Okay, we're down to Soul Smart Silver designation. Last meeting we had together, we decided we're just gonna take it slow during 2023. You know, get together as a committee and figure out what we didn't get points for that we can't have. We're not gonna turn any of this in until 2024. Okay, so it's gonna be slow and steady, and we don't wanna drive ourselves crazy like Laura and I and Tristan were doing, trying to get it the first time around.
I was crazy.
It was just crazy business, really. Okay, so we're on the same page about that then? Okay, do people feel good about that as a plan? Okay, and meanwhile, we have the silver designation. I wanted to look into if they actually had those sign, street sign thingies, because I saw we had our Bird City designation and there was Tree City designation. So if they have the Soul Smart designation, we could put that up on those poles also. So is there somebody who would be willing to contact the Department of Energy's Soul Smart program and see if they have something like that that we could get a hold of?
Okay.
Will you do that? Okay, thank you. Nikki said she'll contact them to see if they have that. Yeah, that's something you should know about anyhow because of your job.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that would be really awesome to have those three signs, you know, right, lined up with each other. I've noticed them when you're coming into town. Has anybody else seen those? Lauren has. It's just like the pole, the poles like they put the stop signs on, that type of pole, and then they put the, which is on the top, or it's the Tree City, and then the Bird City. And then we could possibly have a Soul Smart City also. So that'd be another way to get the word out. I don't know. Does Michigan City have a web designer yet, do we know? We don't. I don't think we do. Because whenever that drops, then we can get that logo put up all over the place, you know, on the website. But our hands are sort of tied right now, not having that particular expertise on staff right now. Okay, any questions or comments regarding Soul Smart? Silver designation, go for gold. Yeah, woo-hoo, for sure. Carbon Neutral Indiana. Faye got her book, finally. And Laura, I think you took part in one of the book discussions.
Oh, yes, I did.
Did anybody else sign up to do one of the book discussions?
I know Andy did.
Andy did too, okay, I thought there were two of you that did. Would you like to share with us your experience?
Oh, I can remember of it. It was a while.
It was a while
But
back.
it was fun, as of course on Zoom. It was kind of interesting to connect with different people around the state. The one person that sticks in my mind at the moment, because I'm kind of following up on it, is I think he's from Bloomington, and he's involved in Faith in Place, which is the successor to Hoosier Interfaith Power and Light. And what it is, it's a joining of Wisconsin Interfaith Power and Light, Hoosier Interfaith Power and Light, and Illinois Faith in Place. So all three states have become one organization, Faith in Place. And so that's involved in getting houses of worship to be more environmentally involved, so.
Okay, well, that's a great connection. to
Yeah,
have made, you know.
But they were all interesting connections, so, yeah, it's worthwhile.
Yeah, and we had talked about maybe in the spring us having
Having our own, yeah.
a face-to-face one here in Michigan City.
So I would advise anybody, I think Andy's was in January, so there may be still some that you could join. And if there's enough interest, he might make more of them, so. So it's worth
He's
your
had
time.
like 150 of those, I think. Yeah.
So they may go into the summer.
Statewide. Statewide, okay.
Impressive.
I'm pretty sure that's correct. Or it was 150 people.
I don't know, but it's worth looking into to see if there's more book groups that you could join, because it is fun and good connections.
You know, and if we want to do something like that, I do believe the Michigan City Public Library would be totally open to us, and any organization in Michigan City can use the library one time free per year. So we could use it for that.
That's 2 times.
Two times free per year.
If they like
Okay.
it.
Okay. The only thing I know is you can't do weekly and you can't do monthly. It's just a sporadic activity that you can do, you know, every so often. You can't hold regular meetings there unless it's an activity that's sponsored by the Michigan City Public Library, then it's okay. Okay, so let's you know, put that on the back burner, see if it's something we're interested in doing. Daniel actually got me in contact with somebody that is, I assumed she was in Indiana, but then when I looked up the group she works for, it's in North Carolina. So I'm not sure, we've been trying to talk this week and it's just not gonna happen, but Daniel said, I think the two of you should talk because if you do, the world's gonna be a better place. And I thought, oh, okay. So anyhow, that's something I'll be doing, and I'll share with you all, you know, what that was about. But she's actually she does something with a green energy group that they actually provide training, and they provide summer camp for kids and training for jobs, you know, like your soul power. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing. They have the summer camp for kids, and they have numerous other things, so it almost seems like an umbrella organization. So I'm interested in learning more, you know.
Yeah.
And Nikki, I think you would be too. So after I talk with her, if it sounds like it's right up your alley, I'll let you know, okay? Because at this point in my life, I'm retired. I'm not about to take on forming a center for renewable energy education and outreach and, you know, everything else. But anyhow, okay. Next up, U.S. Department of Energy's National Renewable Energy Laboratory. I reported last time about the meeting that I had with Ed Shin and Jamie Huss. And the Washington Park Zoo is definitely interested in putting solar panel on all of the buildings that have a south-facing roof, okay? And I think where we were at is we need to contact NIPSCO. Is that it?
That sounds right.
Yeah, next step is to contact NIPSCO to begin planning process for the various options we've discussed so far. Of course, all of the holidays got in between our last meeting and now, you know, between Thanksgiving and Christmas and Kwanzaa and Hanukkah and the New Year's, nothing happened with this, okay? So hopefully by the next meeting, you know, we've had a chance to contact NIPSCO about that. Tristan, were you interested in being a part of that conversation with the person at NIPSCO who actually actualizes these projects? Or, you know, I think that would be great if you'll do that. Anybody else that's on that committee? That's Ed, Tristan, Bailey's not here. Daisy, I'm not gonna include you in that anymore. Is that okay, since you've got movement going?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll take you off of that committee, and we'll let you focus on the recycling at the beach in Washington Park. And Laura? Yes, no? With NIPSCO?
Sure.
Sure, okay. Okay, that'll be good. So I'll reach out to him and check on availability, okay? Okay, great. We're down to the Northwest Indiana Resilience Action Planning Work Group. And our last meeting was on Thursday, December 15th. Laura, I think you were present on that with me, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Gosh.
yeah, my gosh. These are the, I just laugh every time we come to report out this. It's just,
Well, I think what
I'm just gonna be honest and just say most of it goes over my head. You know, so honestly, I don't know what they're talking about a lot of the time. Okay, that's been my experience, and it gets to be extremely technical and very detail oriented, and that's not the way I operate, okay? I'm sort of a big umbrella overall person. I can, bring things together, but I'm not good at breaking things down, so.
Well, the greatest thing was the thing that the intern came up with, which is a list of related to different issues. That was like actions that can be taken and examples of those actions, so that any municipality is interested in doing some action on a certain point, on a certain part of the problem, can look up these other things that have been done in other locations and kind of get an idea, guidance.
I almost call them like best practices,
Yeah.
things that have been tried before and they've been successful.
Yes.
And then they list the program or the project and the city or the state. And then they provide links and or case studies or whatever, so that the community can then not start from ground zero and have to build something from scratch, but actually pick up something that's been done already and try it, for their community. So thank you, Laura, for getting that started. Okay, and I don't know, they're gonna have an intern again, correct?
And they're gonna try for
They're gonna try for another intern beginning in January, February, March.
Yeah.
They've requested one.
yes.
And that intern will again be coming from Indiana University. So it's still a working process. And the work group actually is making progress also, and I would say tremendous progress. So I'm glad we were able to be a part of this. And this takes the place of us actually working as an independent unit with Indiana University, like we did for our greenhouse gas emissions inventory. That was just us with Indiana University. This actually takes the place of that, so this would be step 2 in the process if we were still working with them as an individual entity. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. We're a little bit ahead of everybody because we do already have an action plan that we put together. I put together just based on everything we were doing and got it all written down. And that is posted on the Michigan City Sustainability page, which is part of the official municipal government website. So any of you can go and have a look at that, and maybe we need to make some updates to that at this point in time, or whatever, but we've done it already. So at those meetings, the one thing they keep saying is Michigan City is ahead of the rest of us. They've already done this, so we're given a pass a lot of the time. Okay, great. Soul power. Faye isn't here. Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. I knew that. 7 of the 9 individuals who just completed the solar power training in November, they passed the NAB CEP exam the first time, so they're fully certified as solar panel installers. Yeah, really, this is awesome. And then one person missed it by 1 point, and another person missed it by 2 points. They've already signed up to take the exam again, and Danita Scully was really positive that they were gonna pass it this next time. So that will be 9 out of 9 in that class who will have received full certification as installers. So this is a step above being the assistant. So this is really great. And, you know, I always acknowledge Nikki for this. You know, LaTanya Trotman, this is her dream. This is her baby. You know, you're the one that got this started, and if it wasn't for you, this would not have happened. So really, you know, let's just recognize Nikki for this brilliant idea and figuring out all the pieces it would take, you know, to make it happen. I know.
I'm sorry.
No, and I agree. Nikki would be sending me write-ups for grants and stuff, and Nancy, would you please review this? And I'd be like, okay, Nikki.
Yes, Nancy came through with the bonsai.
I did come through every single time you
Yes, she
sent it
did.
to me. And
Thank you
I
so
think
much.
what's really great is when you have a lot of people looking at something, you notice different things, and that way you're able to strengthen the case that you're making to get money. And because of that, you know, the grant was obtained, NAACP LaPorte County, and also with some help from Gary. I'm being generous. This was launched, and it's become extremely successful. Did you know we have a case study that was written up by the Department of Energy?
Yeah, you let me know that. I thought that was even great, and to expand on that, which kind of leads to our next point, so I don't want to take us ahead. Donita did an excellent job of presenting it at Indiana Solar Congress, which was last month, and Nancy attended, which was a really, really great event, and a lot of other communities want to do something similar. So, as Nancy's just said, like, Michigan City is definitely ahead of the game on some things. So kudos to the sustainability team, right?
And I think we were the first group that signed on with you.
Yeah.
You were the first.
Yes. You
Yes.
were the
We
first.
jumped into the water, not sure what was going on,
Yeah.
or if it was gonna happen. but we-
Absolutely, absolutely. And, you know, I will say there were others who were very supportive. Just Transition NWI was also supportive in like taking on in the beginning of the looking at the documents, but it's really great kind of to see it come, you know, fruition and have people passing that are employable and can even start businesses. So thinking about it on that level, that's like even more amazing.
That's the next level, I
Yeah.
heard.
Yeah.
And everybody all of these people had jobs already, the
Yeah.
7 of the 9.
And so
They had jobs.
That,
In fact, all 9 had jobs.
wow.
Yeah.
And so kudos to Donnie for continuing on with the program. It was, you know, this is something that was birthed out of the loins of COVID-19 for me. You know what I mean? So just thinking about while everybody else was just kind of like down, it really birthed forth a beautiful project that is bringing in jobs and, you know, economic interest to our community and case studies and awards and other things. So like, this is really great, guys. Just, it's really, really great. I'm gonna dance off camera.
Yeah, and then the other case study was the one, it was this summer, I think, maybe June or July, Indiana University actually wrote up,
Wow.
the Michigan City Sustainability Commission, they wrote up as a case study. And then, of course, solar power was mentioned in that as one of the community partnerships that we had. So, yeah, it's.
And I also just want to quickly give a kudos to, I would be totally wrong if I didn't give a kudos to Denise Abdul Rahman, who is our Indiana State Chair, Environmental and Climate Justice Chair. She was like, I actually attended, a national training where this idea kind of sparked in my head, and she really kind of gave me some of the inspiration and like any support that I actually needed. Just like Nancy, she was, open a phone call and to kind of help me. And so to have our local chapter of the NAACP sort of, have that to kind of continue on and it work with the Sustainability Commission. I mean, it's just like really great to see something like that be birthed out of such hardship, if that makes any sense. So I am really pleased with the community for being able to come together, and be able to see 7 of 9 and soon to be 9 of 9 have jobs out of this. So thank everybody who's involved, anybody who even just said, keep going. Thank you.
And this standardized certification, it's recognized across the whole country, so these people can get employment anywhere in the United States with this particular certification. We hope they stick around here because we love to boost the economy here. We love to, make more opportunities for great paying jobs. And these people were starting at $18 to begin with per hour. And then with this, it's 32, I think, if I remember it correctly. With this particular certification, it's $32 per hour, starting. Starting, okay? So just think about that.
Great job. Great job to all of the people who have participated, who are still working on it, just like,
Absolutely.
woo! That's such a Merry Christmas, guys.
And a Happy New Year, too. Okay, that's Soul Power, and now we're down to Solar United Neighbors, and really, Nikki, I want you to talk about the Solar Congress that happened, Solar Congress 2022, is that what it was called?
Yes. So we had, Solar United Neighbors had the Indiana Solar Congress, which took place on December 10th in Indianapolis at Hamilton Intermediate High School. I think I might have Intermediate Southeastern High School. Really great school. Shout out to the principal who did an amazing job. The school actually has solar itself, so being able to see the solar, he tells the kids like, when you guys are playing your games during summer breaks, you're sort of benefiting from what I'm giving back to the grid, or this school is giving back to the grid. So, there's more than one way that the school is, helping the community sort of grow, and that is great. But on the inside of things, there was like really great presentations. Again, Donnie Scully came in with the Soul Power program and talked about sort of some of the things that we just highlighted. And there was also Ben Inskeep from CEC, I can't remember I can't part of the name, but he also did an amazing job talking about his personal experience going solar and sort of what that actually looked like and some of the sort of tiers of that. Of course, Zach Shaw, who is the Indiana State Director for Solar United Neighbors, as well as Dan Robinson, also presented on their topics. But I think what was really great that came out of there was the Solar Bill of Rights, which is something that we're still sort of working on the back end, but everybody was able to participate who attended, whether you were online or in person, on what the Solar Bill of Rights should look like for the state of Indiana. And, that talks a lot about the vision and moving forward and kind of getting a collective of what we should be fighting for when it comes to our energy rights, when it comes to our solar rights, and what's happening across the state. So really giving voice to that was an amazing, amazing job. I think, again, we had over 100 people who attended. We had, legislators who attended. I was able to capture some great interviews, personal stories. We talked to individuals who were doing similar projects, who were participants of the first LMI solar project that Solar United Neighbor did. So there was a lot of stuff that came out of, the day, and we are really pleased with the outcome and looking forward to 2023. And then, if you missed that event, there is a great opportunity to be a part of Indiana Renewable Energy Day, which is actually coming up.
Oh, yeah.
January
Say
26th.
that under announcements.
Oh, yeah, which is like,
Pull it off for announcements, okay?
okay, definitely will do so. But I think that is really, it was a really, really great event, and I encourage you all to check out more information about it on Solar United Neighbors website. You can just look up Indiana Solar Congress and find out all the information there.
Well, I thought it was an excellent conference, it really was. And the thing I liked about it is we received information from different people that were there, not only experts, but also what I would consider lay individuals,
Yeah.
just people in the community
Yeah.
that are interested in solar. And my big takeaway was we need to get more ambassadors from everyday walks of life. I noticed a lot of engineering types that are really into the nitty-gritty
Yeah.
of, and of course, I've been getting solar panels put on for 2 years now. Done, December 2022,
Yeah.
done, they're operational.
Yeah.
2 years worth of doing this, but it's finally done, and of course, all these guys were asking me, well, how many, volts do you have, how much this, how much that, how much did it cost, all this stuff. I'm going, I don't know, it's like, this is my pet project, this is my fun, this is my happy space, okay?
Yeah.
So, I think we need more people out there that are just, doing it because they just want to do something that's good for our planet and
Yeah.
something that eventually saves money
Yes.
and something that got me off of the grid. I will never be without electricity again for
Yeah.
the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So that was a big reason for me doing it after having 3 very miserable days last winter without electricity.
Yeah.
I'm very clear, I can't do that anymore,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different reasons people do it, and I think we can be ears, when we hear from people in the community, like Faye Moore.
Yes.
She's a great ambassador for solar panels, just because she has her $10, $11, $12 electric bill every month. She likes to wave in front of people.
Yeah.
We need more common folk, out there talking about this and, really getting other people interested and enrolling them in doing it, so. We had some bad news at the Indiana Supreme Court. Do you want to talk about this?
That is actually why I was late, because
Segue into, now you're excused for being late if you're bringing us an update about the Indiana Supreme Court decision.
yeah, so the Indiana Supreme Court decision, post coming soon, decided to side with some, there is a report out there actually calling the Grinch, which is Centerpoint.
Centerpoint, I have it down here.
Yeah, they actually, Centerpoint has decided to basically slash net metering. So folks are getting sort of half of the savings from solar in Indiana, where there's a new sort of standard with EDG that is replacing net metering, or is instantaneous netting is actually the term. So it's just basically slashing the net metering in half. You're not getting as much of the savings from actually giving back to the grid. If you want to know more about it, Indiana Solar United Neighbors does have all of the information completely about it. I'll be happy to share it with our sustainability team on our Facebook page. Anything, but it's a rough decision that will sort of set back how much Hoosiers are saving by going solar. It is also something that is almost the opposite of the IRA that passed, that sort of brings in a lot of the solar savings with going solar and things like that. So like, you're getting some savings, you still have like a little bit of a cushion from the IRA, but has absolutely nothing to do with how much you're using on the bills, on a monthly basis and how much you're actually saving. So it could be that if you're a CenterPoint customer, now NIPSCO, Duke Energy, and all those other utilities, they also have rulings in front of the Supreme Court at this point. They have not been, decided at this point. This is just the first of those cases that have actually been decided on. So you will see those cases be rendered, an opinion be rendered on those cases later. We can't necessarily say when. So eventually, this will sort of impact all customers based on a decision that's made. But if it's anything like this, we can pretty much expect the same.
I actually impressed Zach on that point. I said once the Indiana Supreme Court makes a decision, I don't think we're gonna see them reverse that for NIPSCO. Because pretty much they're consistent. We have every single utility company is gonna have to go through this.
Yeah.
But I think this first case, this is the decision.
Yeah.
And it's probably gonna be the same one for absolutely every single utility company here in Indiana. So, but, when I talk to people about why they've gotten solar panels, nobody even knows about net metering when they start the project.
Yeah.
When they start the process and even partway through, and, it's like, it doesn't seem to be that big of a factor for people doing it.
Yeah.
I am net metered because, during the daytime, you're producing more energy than you're using. So my first backup is it goes into my battery system there, okay?
Yeah.
Now, if my batteries aren't able to take any more, then it goes to NIPSCO.
Yeah.
Okay? And they're paying me so much for that, and were I to ever need that, like at night, for example, then I would buy that back from NIPSCO. Okay, right now it's even Steven, what they give to me, I would buy back for the exact same dollar and cent amount. What's gonna happen is they're gonna be paying me like a wholesale rate, and I'm gonna have to be buying it back at a retail rate if I didn't have net metering. So new people, beginning in 2023, this is the new game, for people.
Right, so if you install, it just kind of depends on when you install your solar, how it will impact you. But yeah, this kind of goes to Nancy's point. This is why it's important for people who want to go solar and who have went solar to make sure they're sharing their stories, because as rulings like this come around, your stories help us fight. And they really make all the difference. Everybody knows you're going against monopoly utilities is very, strenuous in the first sort of place, but it's not about that. It's about really hearing from the whole of Hoosiers to make sure that we are actually moving forward and, having sort of a renewable future. Especially when it comes to solar. So if there's anybody who is interested in sort of sharing their solar stories, please contact me. You can reach me via email at ms.ltroutman, that's TROUTMAN @live.com. I would be more than happy to talk to you. Your story would help Indiana move in the direction it actually needs to go in, instead of the direction that sounds, most cohesive of whatever's going on. But I encourage everybody to still go solar. There's, like Nancy said, there's plenty of reasons to go solar. You're saving the planet, you're saving the community, you're saving money, even if it's not as much as it was. You have a little bit more stability, you have enough to kind of feed yourself and those around you. So there's plenty of reasons. But any questions you have, please feel free to reach out to me. Outside of that, that was the decision, and be looking forward to other decisions to come down.
I'm wondering if this decision applies only to homeowners, or if it also applies to businesses, if it applies to nonprofits. if it applies to government entities?
Businesses were cut off quite a while ago.
Yeah.
Businesses were cut off from that metering. I don't know if you remember the Michigan City area schools, when they did all those schools, they were in December down to the last minute.
Oh.
Getting all of those actualized, so they were able to get net metering, but that was the end for businesses and for schools, and so that,
So even
That's-
government entities.
that's past history.
Okay.
Yeah, even government, that's past history.
Nonprofits, churches,
Yeah.
Everybody's
Past-
out of luck.
Past history,
Okay.
yeah. And the gate closed on December 2022 for individual households,
Yeah.
so that was the end of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Dan Robinson is collecting names and contact information for people who are interested in being notified about rounds of cooperatives that will be started in 2023. And you can send an email to him at drobinson@solarunitedneighbors.org. Again, that's Dan Robinson at D, that's his first initial, Robinson, ROBINSON, at solarunitedneighbors.org. And he has started a list of individual households and also small businesses that are interested in looking at installing solar panels on their properties. And those can be rooftop installations, or they can be the ground installations also. Okay.
Just a quick question. I'm wondering, would it help if we had maybe Dan come in to kind of talk a little bit more about the room?
Yeah, absolutely. We would be open to him coming. Yeah, for sure, Nikki, if you would like to invite him. Yes, by all means, yes. He did a Solar 101 presentation for us here at City Hall.
Yeah.
That probably would have been beginning of 2022, I'm thinking. Yeah, so yeah, definitely.
Okay.
And you know, Alco is here recording all of our meetings, so then I know people do get on Alco and they, you know, look up and participate in meetings after the fact.
Yeah.
So then there'd be that ripple effect of him being able to get out to the information of more individuals who
Yeah.
might be interested. Absolutely, Nikki. Yeah.
Awesome. I understand that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we're down to caught you being green and Andy's not here. She had worse luck at the dentist today than I did. So we both, the twinsies, of course, we had dental appointments the same afternoon, a different dentist, but we were both in the dentist office. So she's numb and not feeling all that great. But what she did tell me is, Tim, she has you on the top of her to-do list, okay? So she'll be coordinating with you on Earth Month Extravaganza 2023, which is happening Saturday, April 29th at Krieger Memorial Hall. And she's drawing up a list of potential participants and is going to be contacting people soon about participating in this. And if any of you, you know, if you remember somebody that was there last year that you definitely want them to come back, let Andy know that. I think she's really interested in expanding the number of organizations that could be participating. So, you know, if you know of somebody or in an organization or organization that you think should be there and wasn't there last year, please let Andy or Tim know about that. And it's a much larger space, so I'm really looking forward to that. This first year, we outgrew the library immediately. She had to say no to some people, there just wasn't room for them to be there.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the first year. So this is gonna be great. Okay, so we're down to commissioner comments. Any commissioners, would you like to say something about anything we haven't covered yet, or if you have a burning issue that,
I have a question.
yeah, Tim.
So when Larry and his partner came to talk about the, was that 3 months ago? I don't know.
It's probably about 3
Has there been any
months
update or
ago.
movement or?
I haven't heard anything from them, but what they did say is when they finished their Indiana tour, they would get back in contact with us and come back with what they found.
Okay,
So I'm thinking the tour has not been completed yet.
okay.
Because the one thing about both of them is they are always in contact with people about things that they're interested in and things that they find important to the community.
Okay.
So, but,
I was just curious.
Good point.
I'm very supportive of that.
yeah, great idea, absolutely, yeah, so I'm just waiting. I don't think I'd be wanting to gather information during the winter time, so I don't know. Fall, spring, maybe better time, so we'll see. Okay, I am going to, okay, commissioners' comments. Did you want to talk about renewable energy?
Sure.
Oh, no, that's announcements, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm ahead of myself, okay. Any other commissioner comments? Okay, this next one is a public comment. Tomorrow is the last day to file what your feelings are about NIPSCO's proposed electric rate increase. This will increase the average home's electric bill $20 per month, okay? And we know what the makeup of our community is. Many people live at or near the poverty level. All children in the Michigan City area schools get free breakfast and lunch. So $20 a month is a lot of money to a lot of people that reside within Michigan City. So tomorrow's the deadline to be able to submit a comment. I think that they're not looking for the stats and, how much money NIPSCO made in profits last year or things like that. They really want those personal stories. So if you know somebody that this really is going to adversely affect, you can submit a story for them, or you can encourage them to tell their story to you and submit it. Or if this is something that affects you, your family, a neighbor, anybody, $20 a month, that is a big chunk of money for a lot of people. And the Public Utility Committee needs to know about this. So, you can go online and just put in NIPSCO electric rate case 2022-2023, and what's going to come up is the Indiana Office of Utility Consumer Counselor, and you'll find a portal to be able to enter your comments there. Or you can also put in tell NIPSCO Electric no to yet another rate hike. And this is the CAC campaign, so you can find it there also. That's the Citizens Action Committee campaign. So there's two different organizations that you can find the portal. And you just, write it in there'll be a box that comes up, and you can just, fill in a comment, or 2 comments, or 3 comments, or whatever. But we really want to flood them that, we don't want another rate increase. And if you look at their profit line, they really don't need another rate increase. Did I say that out loud in public? Okay, Nikki, what do you have to say about this?
I just want to say, if you bought chicken in last month, that's about how much this point. So with, inflation on food, we do not need inflation on energy. Just, I want to really just throw that out there.
Yeah, and that's an issue,
Yeah.
people, a lot of people make everyday issues. Am I gonna buy food? Am I gonna buy my medicine? Or am I gonna pay my utility bill?
Yeah.
And this is reality for a lot of people.
So if you're thinking about that on another level, prescriptions. If you have to purchase prescriptions, it's going to come to, do I get my prescriptions or do I pay my energy bill? If you know somebody who's going, through either, if you know someone who is getting assistance, so that means they really can't afford the chicken or half of the stuff Nancy just listed, like, right on their behalf. I just encourage everybody, if you are making ends meet and life is perfect for you, great, but there is somebody who might not even have access to a phone.
Yeah.
Because they can't afford to pay their phone bill. Like,
And we all know somebody like this.
Yeah.
Every single one of us does.
yeah,
And you can write their story for them without using their name. Just say, my neighbor or my friend or the member of my church. I know this is what their situation is. And the stories are what's gonna make the difference in this decision.
if you go to church, you have no idea how many times a pastor hears, I cannot afford to pay my energy bills. That church will start to lose more funding trying to support more community members who can't afford to pay their energy bills. So if you attend church, that's all the more reason to kind of put this story out there. There should not be one person who does not have a story to say this should not happen. $20 is a lot. $20 is all somebody got for Christmas, if that. I'm just thinking about it from that perspective. $20 is really gone. At this point, $20 is like one meal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just want you guys to realistically think about that, and feel inspired to help somebody by telling the story to NIPSCO to just, no, we don't need this rate hike. Tell everyone we don't need this rate hike. So with that being said, I'll yield.
Thank you. You're very passionate about this. Thank you, Nikki. And then we're down to announcements, and the Renewable Energy Day 2023 is happening in Indianapolis, and this is going to be on January 26th. It's a Thursday, and it's at 9 a.m. in the morning. That's when it starts. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Starting at
9 a.m. and then there'll be things after that from 12 to 10. Again, just go on to the Solar United Neighbors page and you'll be able to find that and pull up everything on that.
Also, this is another area where Faith in Place is also partnered with Solar United Neighbors, so shout out to them for that. But this is another great time. I hate to sound redundant, but just tell a story. This is a great time to talk to a legislator, to see, to help support renewables and make sure that we have a sustainable future in Indiana, in our communities, in Northwest Indiana, where we've had a historic history. I'll just leave it there for good measures, but this is another great time to actually get some support in doing that. If you're not familiar with the process, figuring out what's going on, what's happening for 2023 and beyond, and how you can be a part of that process. So.
Yeah, and just a plug for us, the Michigan City Sustainability Commission is one of the sponsors for this particular day, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, any other announcements from any of the other commissioners? Things going on? Yeah, Laura?
Shirley Hines is having a virtual winter tree identification workshop, and that will be January 19th, which I think is a Friday, is that? Today is the 11th.
Thursday.
It's a Thursday.
It's a week from today. It's from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. It's free. This is, it's about how to identify a tree during the winter when you don't have leaves to look at, or maybe don't have leaves to look at. So it's also going to be followed up with some in-person walks focusing on tree ID. Some will be at Barker Woods, some will be at Lightning Bog, which is over in, near South Bend, and some will be at Meadowbrook, which is over near Valparaiso. So if you'd like to learn something about identifying trees, this is a good opportunity.
And it is really interesting. I did one of these several years ago at Barker Woods, actually. It was held at Barker House. And I can, even during this, fall, spring, and summer, I'm more accurate with my tree descriptions.
Yeah.
because I've learned how to identify them without the leaves.
Yeah.
So,
You learn how to look at trees.
yeah,
Different.
it's great. I signed up for it to get a refresher course, so, if you're interested, definitely sign up. Okay, we are at, anybody else have anything? Okay, we're at 5:34. I apologize for going over 4 minutes. Nikki's here.
Yeah, that was me, Mike.
So we'll make a motion to adjourn, please.
I move that we adjourn.
Laura, thank you. We'll second that. Nikki, second. All in favor, raise one of your hands and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, anybody opposed? Okay, really a great meeting, everybody. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Nick.